This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather, ho there, Jeff Cutter Diamond. Welcome to another Sports Catastrophe on this day. And on this day, August the 5th, in the year 2013, Alex Rodriguez was slapped with a major suspension for allegedly using performance-enhancing drugs. The 216-game suspension was huge, one of the hugest in history, but not a full-fledged ban from baseball like Pete Rose did. So a little bit of background. ARod was this big name. He was the #1 overall pick in the 1993 MLB draft. And people thought he was going to be the biggest star for the Seattle Mariners when the Mariners got to draft him. And he was. ARod was making his debut in 95 in the famous playoff series against the New York Yankees. Bet you didn't know that. But yeah, Alex Rodriguez shot on the scene like a rocket. And of course, he lost the Rookie of the Year to one Derek Jeter in 96. But anyway, Alex Rodriguez was big for Seattle. He was hitting home runs. He was getting the RBIs. He was being good. Unfortunately, though, Texas, once they heard about him being a free agent, broke the bank on a 10-year, $252 million contract. And they say the Juan Soto deal was big and all that. Anyhow, so ARod got $25 million a year from Texas. He left Seattle. Ironically, the Mariners would win 116 games that year, 2001 season, the most in American League history, and tying the 1906 Cubs for the most wins in Major League history. Although the 1906 Cubs had done it in 152 games, whereas Seattle had to do it in 162. So there. ARod would only spend a few years in Texas. They figured that he was better off elsewhere. You know, Texas sucked, even with ARod. So they decided to trade him to the New York Yankees, who needed a third baseman because of Aaron Boone's pickup basketball problems. So thus the Yankees got ARod, and he played third base to Derek Jeter shortstop. ARod still could hit the ball very hard. He would hit his 500 or 600 home runs with the Yankees. He was good with the Yankees. Unfortunately, after ARod had hip problems, he was embroiled in a lot of negative headlines. He was a central figure of the BioGenesis baseball scandal and the connection to performance-enhancing drugs. Now, a lot of people said when ARod was breaking home run records for his age group that he was using drugs. All that. There was a lot of problems. ARod thought he could be playing games, but Yankees GM Brian Cashman said no. ARod would start rehab July 2nd with the Class A team and would play for AAA a few weeks later. Unfortunately, before he was going to go back to the Yankees, he sustained a new injury, a grade 1 quad strain, delaying his return and forcing him to continue rehabbing in the minors. Rodriguez wanted a second opinion that. And the Yankees were upset, saying that he violated league rules by seeking a second opinion without the team's permission. He would complete his rehab with the AA Trenton Thunder. So, August 5th, he was back with the Yankees, and it looked good. Unfortunately, though, the same day, the MLB decided to suspend him through the 2014 season for his role in the BioGenesis scandal. ARod would still be playing because when you appeal something, you're allowed to play all that until the decision gets upheld or reduced. So anyway, ARod had a lot of issues with the Yankees front office because they mishandled his hip injury in several ways and all that. Anyway, ARod would still pitch, would still play. Of course, because of the BioGenesis scandal, he was facing a rough patch. He still played the rest of the 2013 season, despite being suspended for 216 games. But because he appealed it, he could play as long as he wanted. Now, they did announce that he would be suspended because of the BioGenesis scandal for the 2014 season. So, you know, it was upheld. He was suspended for the 2014 season. At least he could play for 2013. He was officially found to have violated the performance enhancing drugs policy, specifically through the use and possession of numerous forms of prohibited performance enhancing substances, including testosterone and human growth hormone, and attempting to cover up his violations of the program by engaging in a course of conduct to obstruct and frustrate the office of the commissioner. ARod basically would be booted from baseball, and the Yankees said he wouldn't be a third baseman anymore. Well, he was getting injury after injury, so he would be the DH and all that. ARod would meet with Commissioner of Baseball Rob Manfred January 2015 to try to get back in the game, and thankfully he did. And ARod issued a handwritten letter of apology to baseball, the Yankees, the Steinbrenners, the Players Association, and the fans. So he did. He would finish. He would play that year and the 2016 season. All that. Well, of course, August 2016 was when he got booted from the Yankees. I guess because of his injuries and all that. I mean, he tried his best, but in the end, you can't cheat like that and all that. To this day, I cannot forgive ARod for cheating, because especially with his prime being his home runs, and his prime being based off lies and PEDs and all that. But that's just my take on it. Anyway, I'm Joe Diamond. I do.